What is good? What is up? It's Jordan for Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another live stream today. We've got a very, very special one for you guys. I got a special damn guest who's a close friend to my heart. Another Jordan. We got two. Two is better than one, man. Jordan, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Just, midterms are upon us, so just grinding and can't wait for this matchup on Sunday. How are you doing with your school?
Dude, it's definitely a rough week, man. It's hell week. Yeah, midterms got so many assignments, man. But yeah, so I know Jordan from school out in Vancouver. We're actually from the same province in Canada, and so he's become a great buddy of mine. Pretty much one of my only friends here who's really into football like I am. So man, being able to connect with him, it's been great just to talk ball and have that guy. And so we've been every week, in this playoff. Throughout the playoffs, we've been talking hey, who you got? Who you got? Every single game, we've been making all these picks. And Jordan, man, he keeps giving me these picks. I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, but he's been right every damn time. He's got a crystal ball he's hiding from me, man. Jordan, I don't know how you do it.
No, man, the Packers were the only ones who were the letdown. I was 100% pick rate until the Packers lost to the 49ers. But, I mean, should have expected that Rodgers would have a gaff of a game, so whatever.
Man, that's sad for him, man. You think he's going to stay on the Packers? You think he's going somewhere else?
I think he stays, really. There's only two teams I think that he really would even entertain, and that'd be the Steelers and the Broncos. Personally, I think those would be two good fits for him. He would be going to the playoffs every year and make something happen. But I think the better fit would be with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. But I honestly think he stays. I think he stays.
You think he stays? Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for them to figure out a trade that still benefits the Packers enough.
Yeah.
But
and any Packers fans who's sick of Aaron Rodgers, just go watch the tape on Jordan Love playing, and you'll still want him on your team.
It's not pretty, man. It's not pretty.
It's not.
But all right, let's get into it. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Money Matt. Shout out to D'Angelo and Anthony for joining the stream. Shout out to Big Time Money Matt for the $100, my guy. I appreciate you. The dono. He always comes in, man. I have this theory that he gets his paycheck on every single Thursday, and so every single stream, it's just straight to me. Might as well wire it straight to me. Cut out the middleman. Cut out Money Matt in this, man.
Well, thank you, Matt, for supporting the boy.
We're gonna do mainly talking about the Super Bowl today, previewing it, giving our thoughts on that, and then I might do some final thoughts at the end of the stream, talking about the Texans and then kind of the smaller news recap stuff. But what's up? What's up? Both one teams were not the actual best teams. That's right, Jay. That's kind of what one of the themes we're gonna talk about today with the Super Bowl is, man. We said it before this, Jordan. Any given Sunday, any team can win. And so the Bengals have been an underdog for literally every single playoff matchup that they've had. But you've always picked them, Jordan. You've always been right. You've rode Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase have been your guys, man. Talk about what you love to see out of those two.
I just think situationally, Joe Burrow is just one of those guys. I think he's this is going to be a bad comparison because obviously no one really compares to Tom Brady. But I think they're comparable in the sense that neither is the most athletically gifted. Neither has the biggest arm, but situationally they make really good football plays, right?
Yeah.
Lamar's got the legs, Allen's got the legs, Mahomes and Herbert, they have the arms, right? Rodgers can literally throw a football 200 yards into a Dixie cup. But situational football is what wins you games, especially these big games, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and the guy's just a nice cold killer. Always comes dressed looking good, feeling good. I just feel like everyone loves him. You can't really hate on Joe Burrow. So
it's so hard to hate on him. His story, his rise from I think he was a 3-star recruit, was pretty much a nobody, then rises to the first overall pick, man.
Yeah.
It's hard not to love him for sure. But yeah, I agree, man. He's a definitely if the Bengals win, he's definitely kind of like a superhero in the sense where he's so easy to root for. So easy to like. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it'll be huge too because it shows the right process of building a good team, right? Through the draft. Right.
Exactly. That's the best way to do it. The Bengals, they turn around their team in 3 years, man. It's really possible if you do everything right. Like you said, the process for sure.
Well, that's what I mean. This Super Bowl is kind of the battle of the philosophies, right? Do you go the Rams were the first team? I don't think they have a first round pick till 2024. Right. Whew. They're the let's sell the farm to try and win a Super Bowl. And the Bengals were let's build up our crops, let's build up all our supply and stock and see where that takes us. So it's a battle of two different philosophies, and I think it's going to really dictate how teams try and build from the future, right? Or for the future.
Definitely. The NFL is such a copycat league.
Oh,
They
yeah.
love copying schemes, players, like player types, like, and of course, like processes, like you said. I think there's like, it's definitely interesting, like the philosophy battle. I don't think there's like really one correct way that like you have to do it this way to win.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what you were saying either. But
no.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
But like, you know, some people think like that, right? Like some people think like buying, like it's really evident in like sports like basketball, right? Like buying a super team does get you places, right?
Dude, that's what pissed me off about my Lakers not making a single trade at this deadline. Like you got Bron, AD, and Russ, and you're just gonna keep it like that when it's clearly not working. Like whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. What? Yeah. We won't get into that.
Anyways. Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it now. So what we're gonna first start with is just kind of some of the basics in terms of the spread. Where are where's the money going? And so I think I looked at DraftKings and they've got it at 4.5 under for the Bengals. And so Bengals are the underdog yet again. Jordan, who do you think, or sorry, first of all, we'll go with, do you think that covers? Do you think the Bengals cover that?
The over under or the spread?
The spread, 4.5.
The spread? No, I honestly don't. I think they win by a field goal.
Ooh.
I think they win by a field goal. I think they win by 3, and that's that.
Okay, so then they would cover the spread, or
no? Isn't the spread 4.5?
Yeah.
So they would need to go up. They'd need to win by 5. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's how it works. I don't even know. I never do sports betting. I can't lie.
No, okay, neither do I, honestly.
I think they end up losing by 3. I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think it's going to come down to a game-winning drive, and a field goal for the Rams. So I think it'll be a 3-point game. But in terms of who we think is winning, we talked about a little bit before we got on here, but give us your pick, Jordan. Who do you think?
I'm staying true with the Bengals, man. I think people don't like, the big thing is their offensive line and the rushing attack of the Rams, right? So like I understand all the hesitation to join the bandwagon and everything like I did, but I have a feeling, man. I have a feeling Sean McVay is gonna draw up these schemes. They're gonna be a little too out there, and he's gonna get in his head. And I mean, I don't think Stafford's gonna bail him out of this game.
Ooh. You don't think so? You don't think? I mean, we talked about it earlier, but you think Stafford? I mean, we know Stafford is an upgrade over Goff, but you don't think he's good enough to bail him out?
I think Stafford is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, actually.
Ooh.
But I think that you've seen even in the Bucs game until the last, what was it, like minute 45? They have spots where they go cold for like 15, 20 minutes.
They do. And, very streaky.
Right? And the Bengals have shown you like you can't do that against them. Once they take the momentum, they never give it back. Right? And the Bengals have been a second half team all year. Right? So they're never really out of a game either. Once that bit of doubt like starts to creep into your head and stuff, like we haven't seen Stafford have to overcome that yet. And I guess against the Bucs he did, but he almost threw a pick right before that too. Right before that 40-something yard pass to Cup, he literally almost threw a game-ending pick. So we'll see. But I got Stafford this one.
Fair enough. Stafford is such a Bengals. Is such a polarizing player. I don't get why people are so divided on him. Like, to me, the way I see it is like he was always a really great quarterback with the Lions, they were the Lions. Like, they were a dumpster fire team that could never really support him. Like, apart from having Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate for a few years, like they could never really put together a good team that could help him out. So it was interesting to me. I don't know why people hate on him so much, but hopefully he can prove himself. Hopefully people will see him for the talent that he is. But so you got the Bengals. Sorry, go for it.
Oh, no, I was going to say, do you think that Stafford's a top 5 QB? Like, do you have him in that upper echelon? I personally do.
5 is very generous for me. I would say borderline top 10. Like, I would put him somewhere from 7 to 12. That's where I would go.
Oh, way? You really love the Justin Herberts and the Lamar Jacksons of the world?
I think so, man. I think so. Yeah? Like, I think you have to throw, like, I mean, we won't get into a full list, but I think there's definitely 5 better quarterbacks than Stafford.
This is, like you said, is why it's so polarizing, right? People are so full Stafford team, or I still need to see more.
That's the thing, is like he's proved himself. He started the season off like crazy. Like people were calling him the MVP through the first like half of the season, but then he really kind of tailed off. So he's been playing well in the playoffs. This is definitely the final test for him, and if he does, like he's pretty much cemented in terms of a really damn good quarterback. I just don't know about top 5, but we'll see.
Okay.
Okay. So you gave the Bengals. My pick is the Rams. It's kind of like a pick that I don't even want to make because like, oh, everyone's picking the Rams. So like, of course he's going to pick the Rams too. I would love the Bengals to win it. I really would. But I just think there's too much of a talent disparity between the two teams. And the Bengals have been pulling off too many upsets for it to happen again. Like it just seems like their luck is going to run out at some point. And I think the matchup that is really the most important between Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey, like it doesn't go in their favor. Like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, like that's what makes this team go. That is the engine, that is the heart and soul of their team, right? So obviously they have some other good players around them and a good defense, but at the end of the day, that's how they win and lose games. And they've never gone up against a team this year that has a Jalen Ramsey. Sorry, this playoffs that has a Jalen Ramsey, right? Like, so the whole, and we've talked about this a lot, is like the whole way that their offense is so effective is that, you know, you have to double Jamar Chase. Yeah. Right? You have to have a corner and a safety over him, or else he's going to absolutely roast you for 300 yards. But if that cornerback that you're putting over him is Jalen Ramsey, you don't have to give him safety help. You probably don't. And we'll see during the game. That's going to be the matchup to watch for sure. But going into the game, you'd think that Jalen Ramsey should be able to hold him. Best corner in the game, right? So you can dedicate that other safety to the other players on the Bengals, to T. Higgins, to Tyler Boyd, and now you're kind of at an advantage there. So that's kind of why I think is going to be the main thing, that, and then obviously the D-line domination, man. So yeah, I got the Rams. I definitely do. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit something where like we kind of talk about the game plan for each team and what each team needs to do to win. Just so we can like provide multiple perspectives. Before we go into that, the over under is set at 48.5 points. Jordan, what do you think happens there? Are we taking the over? Or taking the under?
I'm taking the under again.
Under again, man.
I called the under against the Chiefs, and it's going under again. I don't think, usually in Super Bowls teams play it a little safe, and unless one team gets out to an absolutely huge lead at the beginning, it's usually a pretty tight game. So I'm taking the under. I got Bengals 21, Rams 19.
Wow, that much under. Yeah. Okay, 21-19. That would be very interesting. Yeah. I'm in the general sense of you, Jay. I really find it difficult to find that the Rams would put up 42 points. That's the Bengals defense is really, really good, man. It's really underrated. And like Jordan said, like they are really good at making adjustments in the second half. So like if the Rams like get out to like if they would have to put up like 30 points in the first half and then get some bunch of turnovers for that to happen. I just don't really see that happening because like the Rams, like they have a good offense, but they're not really like a super explosive offense like the Chiefs. And the Bengals were even able to slow down the Chiefs offense. Mm-hmm. So we'll see about that. But I also got the under as well.
Hey, you're joining the team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm with you finally for once. The Bengals have scored 26, 19, and 27 in the playoffs. So they're averaging 24 points per game. And the Rams have scored 34, 30, and 20. So they've been averaging 28 in the playoffs. So I mean, put those two together, it's like 52 points. But like Jordan said, the Super Bowl is kind of notorious for being more of a defensive battle and having lower scored games than the averages. And so if the average is already that close to the over-under, like I think it's going to be under as well. Both these teams are going to be playing a bit more safe. They have each other scattered out really well, so they understand their strengths and weaknesses, and they know really how to stop them. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be under, but I think it's going to be close. They set a good line for that for sure. But it'll be interesting for sure to see. Rams 24-17. Yeah, drop it in the chat what your score predictions are. Everyone's got – I don't think I've seen – we've seen one Bengals, 31-24 Bengals. Let's go. 24-17 Bengals. I can see that's a pretty realistic scoring line. That's going to be something we talk about if the Rams can score some points on defense.
I agree with Jay. I think if it does hit the over and if the Rams win, they need at least one score from their defense.
Yeah.
They need at least one defensive score.
And I don't know about you, but I find it hard to visualize and imagine Joe Burrow like throwing a pick six or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. or like a forced fumble off a sack. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna happen. I mean, he got sacked 9 times against the Titans. They didn't drop the ball. I mean, Aaron Donald's a powerful man, but I don't see that coming back as a pick 6 or anything like that either. So no, I don't see that happening.
The Bengals, I mean, okay, we're going to get into it now, I guess, because I want to talk about that matchup between the Bengals O-line and the Rams D-line. But basically, what do the Bengals need to do to win? I know we've kind of talked about, especially with you, like your pick is the Bengals, but I guess from like a game plan perspective or like points of emphasis, like what do you think the Bengals really need to do to win this ball game?
I think a big part for the Bengals to win this game and to take pressure off their O-line is to throw like screenplays and like little trick plays like they were doing to Mixon against the Chiefs when they were attacking Burrow, right? Mm-hmm. You force them not to pressure 5-man in on Burrow. It leaves the offensive line a little less overworked. And from there, if because you saw Joe Mixon, he was catching screens and slants and he was going for 8, 11 yards per catch, right? So what I'll do is I'll force them to play a little deeper back and play more zone. Right, put more guys in the backfield, especially if you got Chase and Higgins, right? And then Boyd will just be that intermediate guy. I think if the Bengals are going to have a decent day on their offensive line, they need to get Joe Mixon involved early, and it's going to have to be through the pass game because they're not going to rush him through the tackle against that D line. There's no chance.
No. And the Rams have speed to the outside too. I remember when we were watching the game versus the Chiefs, we kept on like just screaming at the Bengals, like stop running it to the outside. Like the Chiefs are built for that. They've got the speed and the Rams have that too, man, with Von Miller out on the edge there. So it'll be definitely tough sledding for the Bengals running game. But I love what you said in terms of offensive game plan. That's definitely what they got to do. Kind of being like an extension of the run game through the passing game. Yeah. They definitely have to get creative because they're not going to have all time in the day to sit back and wait for Chase to get open, wait for Higgins or Uzomah, even if he plays. We don't know yet, I believe.
I was going to ask, do you know if Uzomah or Higbee are playing in this game?
I don't know. I think they're kind of trying to play their cards close to their chest just so that the opposing team doesn't have time to kind of game plan for it.
Game plan for it, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really a big thing for the Bengals is getting the ball out quickly, whether that's schemed up screens to the running backs or even the wide receivers. I feel like guys other than Chase need to have a big day. Like T. Higgins, he had a huge day versus the Chiefs, 6 catches for 103. He's kind of like been their like big play guy after Chase, but I think what they need to do is get him and Boyd more involved with just the quick passes. Literally just dump it up underneath and let them get yak. Especially because the Rams linebackers, like if there's one weakness on the Rams defense, it's their linebackers in coverage. So try and get them over the middle of the field. I'm with you on that as well. I think some of the other keys so we talked about the Bengals offense, going over the Bengals defense. I think the defense definitely needs to contain the Rams run game because that's kind of their engine of what Sean McVay wants to do. That's how his offense is in that Shanahan tree, that West Coast system it runs, right? The run game. So they need to get big plays out of DJ Reader and BJ Hill, their defensive tackles, and set Stafford back into those 3rd and longs. And that's where it's really going to show, is Matt Stafford a top 5 quarterback or not? Can he rise to the pressure in those 3rd and longs, Jordan? Do you think he can do it? Do you think if he's consistently being put in 3rd and longs all game, do you think he has it in him?
I mean, it's okay. If Higbee's playing, so if he has Higbee, who's been a safety blanket for him all year, and he has OBJ and Kupp, I think I think he's an elite arm talent, and I think he's really good situationally. I have him at like number 5, number 6 in the league for me. I think he can do it, but I don't want him to. I'm full Bengals train, but I think you have to give gotta give him his roses right now. Yeah, he is a top 5 quarterback in the league.
I like it. Shout out to Olivia, shout out to Noah in the chat. Yeah, so I think in terms of that matchup between the Bengals defense, they need to force them into 3rd and longs, and then they really need to get turnovers. Like, I really want the Bengals to win this game, man. And I think the main thing is going to be having, as many possessions as possible, forcing Stafford into some picks. They're going to have to disguise their defenses and rotate it well. And their DC has done a really good job of doing that, especially in the second half of games. So if they can get some late interceptions in the 4th quarter, like they did against Mahomes, man, momentum just goes like that. Like we saw it versus the Chiefs, man. They can just steal it from you, man. So
and they never give it back.
Yeah.
They never give it back.
Absolutely. One interesting thing I think about is like kind of their philosophy for defending Mahomes. What they did is basically they didn't blitz him. And they dropped like 8 defenders back in coverage. And so they just had a 3-man rush. They dropped 8 defenders on 35% of their plays, which doesn't sound high, but that was a season high for the Bengals. It was a lot. And so that was what really was their adjustment for him. Now, I don't think that's actually going to work too well against Stafford. I think Stafford is a bit better. He's more experienced. And so he's a bit better at, I see 8 guys in coverage. Like, I'm not going to just panic and escape the pocket like Mahomes was and just not take what the defense was giving him, right? I think Stafford's a bit better at that. So I don't think they can use that same game plan that they did versus Mahomes. I think what they should do is actually just try and get after Stafford. That's what's kind of been his weakness, is when he is pressured, especially going back to those Lions days, like when he's pressured, like he's going to kind of make some bad decisions at times. So I think they should be blitzing him and try and get the heat on. Do you agree with that, Jordan? Or do you see it differently?
Yeah, I do. And it's like the Rams, they said Pro Focus has them rated as the top 7 O-line in the league. I think that's kind of masked by how good their running game is.
Yeah.
I don't think their O-line is that great. I think it's definitely like a middle of the pack offensive line in the league. And I agree with you too, like on the situational plays by Stafford. We saw it, right? When Mahomes, all he was looking for is, where's Tyreek? Where's Kelsey, right? And he's just running right and left in the pocket. And eventually the defensive lineman for the Bengals got to him, right? On a couple plays, they eventually got to him. I don't think that's going to work against Stafford, right? I don't think so. I think he'll throw it off to Sony Michel or Cam Akers, or he'll just dump the ball off. I don't think he's going to just throw it into coverage man. Like him and Cooper Kupp have a connection, but I don't think he's going to force it.
I agree, man. I agree. He's just not the same type of quarterback as Mahomes is. Mahomes will run around playing like his backyard football, scrambling for 30 seconds and just kind of doing more damage than he is good. Like we saw at the end of the fourth quarter when he was when they were in the red zone, and he just kept scrambling around, and then he ended up taking a sack and fumbling it and almost lost it. So that's just not who Stafford is, man. He'll do better about that. So they'll have to get after him. And then also the X factor in terms of, wide receiver cornerback matchups. I feel like Mike Hilton versus Cooper Kupp is going to be huge. So Mike Hilton's their slot corner. And he's done pretty well historically over the years. Like when he was with the Steelers before and they matched up versus the Rams, he's done historically pretty well versus Cooper Kupp. But Cooper Kupp's been on another level this year. So we'll see. And then Jay says it in the chat, man, like OBJ as well. OBJ has really kind of been their moneymaker on third down. Do you think the Bengals have enough to kind of stop him or slow him down at least?
I mean, they did it to Kelsey and Kelsey and oh my god, and Cheetah. So I think that they have they can. I don't think man to man they can, but they run good schemes. Like you said in the second half when they switched up their defensive schemes, they figured out a way to zone them out of the game. But OBJ is going to be huge in this game. Because we see, like you said, on third downs when it's money time for Stafford, he's been daring teams to zone and man Cooper Kupp, and he's like, all right, I'll find OBJ for 8, I'll find him for 7, I'll find him for 12, right? So I think OBJ is sneakily, everyone was kind of when he first went there for the first 2-3 weeks, he wasn't really getting a lot of targets, he wasn't getting a lot of catches, he didn't really have a lot of impact, but OBJ's stock has been rising through these playoffs. He's had some big games on the Rams route to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. In the last game of the NFC Championship when they beat the Niners, Cooper Kupp went for 11 and 142 and 2 touchdowns, but Odell Beckham was right behind him with 9 catches and 113. So it's been really fun to see Sean McVay kind of scheme them up. And he's been putting them on opposite sides of the field a lot of times. So if you do double one of them, the other one is going to be single coverage. And so they just can beat man coverage too well. So to your point, exactly, the Bengals just don't have the horses to hold up in pure man coverage. So they're going to have to do a lot of zone, a lot of blitzes, and just try and confuse Stafford. That's going to be their kind of formula for success. I'm 100% with you. Now let's move over to the Rams. And I touched on it a little bit. But I kind of want to get some of your thoughts. I know you don't want them to win. I know you're picking the Bengals, but just for the sake of kind of this thought exercise here, what do you think the Rams need to do to get this dub, Jordan?
They establish the run game. If they can establish a dominant run game, if you have Akers for 70 yards and Sony for another 50 to 70 yards, they can establish a good run game. They have to keep the Bengals honest in their schemes, right?
Yeah.
They can't just leave an empty box. They're going to have to rush 4 or 5 guys. That's when you're going to open up single man coverage on Kupp, OBJ, and Higbee if he plays. And that's where I think the Rams unlock the keys to.
Did I freeze? Did Jordan freeze?
No,
okay,
I think
we're back. We're back. Okay.
So I think if the sorry.
No, you go.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I think if the Rams can unlock the run game and like a good run game, right, where they're not getting like 3 to 4 yards carry, they're making like some chunk plays. That's going to force the Bengals to play closer on the line. That's going to give Kupp and OBJ more time to run their routes and get that separation that they're so good at. So for me, like everything on the Rams offense is going to predicate from getting the run game started and started early.
For sure. Cam Akers has been a huge addition, getting healthy now. He's definitely an electric back. Like you said, like he can get those chunk plays for you. Like maybe Sony Michel might not be the guy, but definitely Cam Akers has that speed for sure. To go along with your point there, because I do agree, it definitely all starts from the run game. I think they really need to take care of the ball at the same time. Those two kind of come together, time of possession. Don't let Burrow have the ball in his hands too much. And so that falls on Stafford to not get confused by the Bengals defenses, all the zone blitzes that they should send. But then also falls on the running backs, just not fumbling. Akers had 2 fumbles versus the Bucs in the playoffs. And it didn't end up killing them too much, but against the Bengals, it absolutely will. They cannot turn the ball over, man. They really can't. So that's in terms of the offense. That's a lot of it. If the run game gets going, man, the passing game is going to be too easy for them because they know how, like Sean McVay knows how to complement it too easily. So getting Kupp and getting OBJ open will be pretty easily. Jordan, number 2 spin facts. There you go, man. But then Jay also makes a good point is like they've got a third weapon, man, in Van Jefferson. I loved him out of Florida. It's funny, the Rams picked him with the second round pick that we traded them for Brandon Cooks. Funny how that turns out, but
because Van Jefferson for me is what the Chiefs wish Hardman would become, right? That speed option that can blow open a random play, get you a huge chunk yard, but Hardman's never been able to do that, and like that's the key for them opening up the key to their next level in their offense, right? Yeah, so Van Jefferson's a player, man. He's a sneaky player.
It's like you just kind of, because they have so many stars on that offense, you just tend to kind of forget about him as a defense, and then boom, he's going off for 50-yard touchdown. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. No, he can only have like 3 targets in the game and have 2 catches for 80 yards. Like his targets are very impactful on the game, right? Definitely.
I agree. Yeah, so that's the Rams game plan on offense to win. On defense, I mean, we talk about it, everyone talk about it, everyone knows it's obviously the D-line just has to come to play and do what they've done all season and really throughout all their careers. Like you're talking about 2 really established guys in Aaron Donald and Von Miller. Like they've been here before. Miller's won a chip before. Like they just need to rise to the occasion and be, the defensive players of the year that they really are. The Bengals simply don't have the personnel to do it. There's some game planning stuff that they can do, but if the Rams can stop the run, can stop mixing it and force the Bengals into 3rd and longs, and if they can kind of sniff out the screen and trick passes that we were kind of thinking about, that you were thinking about, that's going to be really, really huge, because putting them in 3rd and long situations when the D-line can just get after it, it's gonna be over. There's nothing for the Bengals to do at that point.
No. That's the huge difference, and why all the money's going to the Rams. Is because that O-line versus matchup, right? And like you said, if they get after Joe and Joe's not able to establish like a screen run game, like a hybrid run game, or get Chase like quick off the line and try to let him go for his little yak plays and stuff like that, or get T. Higgins underneath. It's going to be a long day for the Bengals. So
it really will. And so the other kind of, to go off of that, what you said with T. Higgins, like that's going to be another matchup to watch for the Rams. Is we know Ramsey's going to stick with Chase, and that's going to be like a primetime fight. It's going to be crazy. We can get to that after this, but the other cornerback who's going to kind of be with T. Higgins, I think it'll be Darius Williams for the Rams. That's kind of been their number 2, and he's been kind of exposed a little bit picked on. And of course, any cornerback who's playing opposite Jalen Ramsey is going to kind of get picked on just because Ramsey's locking down his side. But Higgins is no, easy guy to cover. He's big, he's fast. Yeah, man. So that's going to be another matchup to watch as well. Like I said, he went for 6 for 103 when they beat the Chiefs, and he was huge, just with timely, situational catches, which is what you've been preaching this entire time. It's going to come down to the situational plays, third downs, 2-minute drills, and that sort of stuff. So that's going to be something to watch. But with the Chase Ramsey matchup, Jordan, that's going to be where everyone's eyes are on. And I know you got the Bengals, but you got Chase winning that matchup. What would you predict he goes for this game?
Honestly, I think it's going to be a lackluster matchup. I think Chase is going to have 7 to 8 targets, 60, 65 yards, and maybe a touchdown or 2. I think Joe knows he's going to have Jalen on him all game. And I think they're going to run plays where they're gonna do what they did last week against the Chiefs, right? Their whole scheme is going to be going out and trying to get Higgins in that 8-yard zone, right? Mm-hmm. He's big enough and his vertical's high enough where no one's going to get him in the 8-yard, in that 8-yard little short intermediate field, right? No one's going to get him. Because even last week, remember, we were like, whoa, Joe throws the ball really high to Higgins, right? Yep. But that's because Higgins goes up and gets it, right? Like he's catching an alley-oop. So I think that the key to getting Chase his couple plays in the game, which could be high impact plays, is really hitting Boyd and T. Higgins where it hurts. Just go 6 to 8 yards up the field slowly. Throw in a couple run plays, just slowly go up the field. Because at some point, Jalen Ramsey is otherworldly, but so is Jamar Chase. Man, Jamar Chase will get him at least once. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's good, and that's where the situational play comes in. It's Joe's not just going to force feed Chase, especially with the best cornerback in the game on him. Right. Mm-hmm. But he's going to get him at least once, so I think that's where it comes into, but I don't think Chase is going to go for what do you do against the Chiefs in week 17? 11 catches, 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yeah. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So
for sure. Yeah. And even in the game versus the Chiefs, they showed the game plan of how to slow him down. He ended up with 6 receptions for 54 and a touchdown. But it's going to be different, man. I don't think the Rams are going to double him. I think they're going to let Ramsey stick with him. And so that just leads to the potential for Burrow. Like you said, he's not going to force it, but I think he's going to toss up a good amount of, back shoulder fades down the sideline and just kind of trust Chase to go win that ball. Because, they've had such great chemistry since going back to LSU. I'm sure you've seen it, on social media. A lot of times, they just kind of talk to each other in the huddle, hey, just throw it up to me. Just trust me. Or the other way around. You know what I mean? They really, really trust each other. And so he's going to try it a good amount. And I think the area that I'm curious to see and I think holds the most weight is definitely in the red zone. Because that's where Chase's lone touchdown came versus the Chiefs, right? It was an end zone fade, and it looked.
He should have had 2 that game, right? He dropped a one-hander that was, I couldn't make that catch, but for him, it should have been pretty easy, right? That's what I mean. Where I think he could have a touchdown, maybe 2, but I don't see him getting over 70 yards.
Yeah, for sure, and that would be enough. If he's getting 60 yards, but he's getting 2 touchdowns. Yeah. And if the Bengals are efficient in the red zone and they don't have to settle for field goals, that's gonna be big, man. And I know McPherson, their rookie kicker, has been lights out. He's been ice cold, man. But it's a Super Bowl at the end of the day. You don't have to settle for points. You really don't. So that'll be another interesting to see the red zone battle. But yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything in terms of game plan, in terms of over under, in terms of spread. You're still going with the Bengals. I'm still going with the Rams. Just a little recap. We both said we take the under of 48.5 points. This is going to be, I think it'll be a really fun matchup to watch just because both teams are pretty likable, you'd say, right? I feel like the Rams are likable. The Bengals are definitely very likable. And it should be really interesting because the Rams are at home, right? It's in LA.
Yeah. Yeah, only the second time in NFL history where it's been a home field Super Bowl, and the other one was last year in Tampa Bay with the Bucs. So funny how that works.
Yeah, dude, and that's gonna be it's. I picture similar outcomes as to how it was with the Bucks versus the Chiefs last year, in the sense that the crowd is really gonna fuel the Rams defense like they fueled the Bucks defense in terms
Mhm.
of getting into the quarterback's head, messing with snap counts, and just kind of really fueling that defense to get after them. And I think Burrow's going to be running for his life. And if he can overcome that, man, he's going to have a
Well,
real argument for like top 3 quarterback, maybe best
oh
quarterback
yeah,
in the league.
oh yeah, oh no, yeah. I already have him again 5'6". Same with Stafford, like around that area. I think
Yeah.
he's besides Mahomes and Allen,
Mhm.
he's right underneath like the top young guns for me. But what I wanted to say was with the noise and everything, that's what everyone said about Arrowhead last week.
That's true.
Everyone said, "Oh, you haven't played in a building this loud. You won't be able to hear yourself think. Snap counts, everything will go awry." I mean, he did all right. First half aside, he did all right. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll definitely see Joe Burrow. He's got ice in his veins, man. He's been to the big stage. He's won a national championship. And college stadiums, a lot of time, like they get rowdier than NFL
Yeah,
stadiums,
especially in the SEC, right? So
especially in the SEC. Like he's done this against Bama. Like he's been at this kind of echelon. I mean, obviously, national championship isn't the Super Bowl, but it's the next damn closest thing.
yeah.
So, man, if Burrow wins, dude, the memes are going to be absolutely insane if he wins.
Yeah, he'll be the first person to win the Heisman,
Yeah.
the national title, and the Super Bowl
And
if
he
he wins
definitely
this
gets
weekend.
Super Bowl MVP too.
Oh yeah. Oh, if the Bengals win, he gets Super Bowl
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, unless Chase somehow does go for 280 and 3 touchdowns, which I don't think is going to happen.
Nah, man. The only thing I hope for is just that we get like a healthy game. Like I hope Chase stays healthy. I hope Ramsey
Yeah.
stays healthy so that we can really enjoy that matchup. Because it's honestly like Ramsey's the best corner in the game, and Chase has an argument for playing as the best wide receiver. Like I think it's him and Adams. Like they've been right up there. I think Adams obviously has been done it for longer, but just looking
Yeah,
at this
exactly.
one season that Chase has had, absolutely insane, man.
Well, we
Absolutely
never
insane.
thought we'd see a season like this after Justin Jefferson did it last year.
Yeah.
And Chase was like, hold my beer, big guy, and went and had a better rookie season than Jefferson did. So, yeah, it's going to be insane.
Dude, I'm so excited for it. This Sunday, I don't even know what time the game. Probably like
3:30 Pacific Standard Time, baby.
oh man, that's early for us. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
3:30. Okay. We got it, dude. All right. You got any final thoughts or we'll close this one out?
Yeah, man, let's close it out. Go Bengals. Big Joe
Bengals.
baby's got the ice in his veins. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Money Matt says, if I'm not wrong, there's at least 8 SEC stadiums that hold 100,000 fans, while Arrowhead only holds around 80 to 90K. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hey, maybe it's going to be the kicker. Could you imagine the Super Bowl MVP's the kicker? Dude.
McPherson, I think, is what, 12 for 12 in the postseason on his field goal attempts? I know he's 100%. I don't know if it's 12 for 12 or 13 for 13, but he's 100% in his field goal attempts.
Where did they draft him in the 6th round?
Yeah, out of Florida. Out of Florida, yeah.
Man, that's a good investment.
Yeah.
That is a good investment.
Yeah,
Big
he's won all their games pretty much.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I got the Rams. Jordan's got the Bengals. It should be a really fun one no matter who takes the dub, man. But thank you guys for coming out to the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. That's going to do it for me. Take care, y'all. And remember, the beard don't lie.